Well, 2 years. So much time, so little we realize flew by. Nothing built can last forever, and every honeymoon period, no matter how great, runs out in time. In my hardcore Minecraft world I've not shown to anybody, I've conquered the Ender Dragon and Wither simultaneously for the very first time. In my personal life, I'm due to go back to my education very soon with the future of this channel no more certain than it was 2 years ago. AI has seen a complete counterculture shift since the Trojan horse it posed itself as for the future of humanity only a couple years back, when it was really our greatest threat yet. And Cube Canvas, creator of the Ancient Debris series, is ever on track to launch the pilot episode this very year, for which I will be among the first to check it out, given my real life schedule doesn't deprive me of that opportunity. Yet, in all the known universe, between here and the Discord server, the legend of Block by Block remains dormant, uncertain as to whenever it will continue. Yes, it's me, Nether End Offender. 2 years later, oh my good grief, where did all that time go? I swear it was only yesterday that I sat down in the very same office area I'm seated in now to express all my hopes, theories, and even the occasional worry I had for the newly greenlit and announced Minecraft Story Mode Remake series. A project heated by a then 16-year-old kid new to the Minecraft animation community, Wazzy Works, and his remarkable talent right from trailer 1 that had me and millions of others hooked and hyped for what was to come. Even with such anticipation increasing in the wake of the unfortunately short-lived universal rejection of Thou That Shall Not Be Named, it being deemed the real big screen story that the Minecraft universe deserves, little news would ever come from it moving forward. Aside from a release year originally slated for 2025, yeah, about that. I think it's time we break down what we know, before what we don't, before we continue on. But one more thing, a disclaimer. This video was written and edited prior to the second anniversary of the Block by Block trailer published on August 30th, 2024. If my speculations to come later are proven inaccurate in any way, please note that that will be why. Despite the first trailer setting a release year for 2025, very little marketing for the project would be done after its inception, aside from one Christmas render, the release of the trailer music, and another set of renders for the trailer's 1-year anniversary. Then, October 16th, 2025 was when things would majorly shift course for the project. 3 days after the 10th anniversary of the original game, Wazzy posted an announcement making it official, in tandem with the lack of marketing, that Block by Block would no longer be releasing in 2025. According to the post, Wazzy's rationale for doing so boils down to their underestimation of the massive responsibility that this project would be on all of them, from the writers to the animators to the editors, and that a delay was necessary since it allowed everyone to reorganize and lay out more comprehensive steps and plans for production, and to do all of that so to ensure that Block by Block, even when basing itself off a flawed original, would be nothing short of a love letter and an overhaul of Minecraft Story Mode. A release date was not set to replace 2025 in order to avoid repeating the same mistake, but what was slated would be sneak peeks, updates, and behind-the-scenes content to come in the future to make up for the missed release window. However, none of it has been released or updated upon as of writing, with the exception of a progress video originally promised among the stuff to come soon. Unfortunately, due to difficulty behind doing such a video, likely so soon with how production needed to get back into full gear, it was cancelled for the foreseeable future. Lastly, 2026 has been dead air on all fronts for both Wazzy and the official Block by Block accounts. No announcements related to the project have been made since the cancellation video. Both Wazzy's Twitter and Blue Sky accounts sit dormant. Block by Block on Discord, Instagram, Tumblr, and YouTube have not seen any updates. Nothing but radio silence. Which brings us to today, just shy of the trailer's 2-year anniversary. I want to stress that I'm in no position to make definitive statements on the production team for Block by Block given how little we know, as well as the fact that I am not have never have been a member of the team. However, with how Wazzy's also been radio silent, and with the responsibility of school in the real world I'm sure he and many others on the team would have to juggle for such a project, I truly believe that wherever they're going to go with this, whether they announce that the project will be ready as soon as 2027, later like 2028 or 2029, or even that they'll possibly have to can or downsize it, that they're doing the right thing this time by not setting any expectations for the series release. In retrospect, that huge weight of real-world responsibility up against an indie project with such great ambition and power through hype makes the possibility of a 2025 release year look laughable. I hypothesized that such a release year was only ever greenlit to match the timing of Minecraft Story Mode also celebrating 10 years from its October 2015 release date. As a matter of fact, it plays right into the important lesson I'm hoping Wazzy is taking away from this, that for as much as Block by Block can pay respect and love to MCSM, it cannot be MCSM. You see, I believe a major reason why MCSM was as flawed as it was comes down to how little time it had from Telltale and Mojang to fully refine each and every episode. The gaps between each release typically range from a couple weeks to a singular month, made worse by how there was only a 4-month gap in between the Witherstorm arc and the Portal arc, and not even a year between Season 1 and Season 2. Meaning the writers, who would have already had minimal time word a straightforward story to fully realize it, were put into an even more difficult position since this was a choose-your-own-adventure story, with the tall task of providing multiple different paths and multiple different outcomes across each individual episode. And the results are just as mixed as one would expect, ranging from neat details and a few actually rewarding outcomes driven by the player thinking for themselves I went over in my video essay on the game, to how blatantly obvious the illusion of choice problem was rampant throughout the game. But since Wazzy has clearly stated that this will not be choose your own adventure, in tandem with his statement that the storytelling has seen, quote, a huge step up in quality, there's still hope that the mistakes which once led to MCSM's downfall will finally be made right. That, as well as the trailer strongly centering itself around setting up individual identities for each of the characters compared to their underusage in later seasons, and the further symbolism and usage of the amulet with actual impact for our characters beyond being a multi-purpose plot device, I still have belief that what sounds like rewrites Wazzy mentioned in his announcement have done nothing but drive those narrative and thematic ideas to their fullest potential. To that end, I also want to address Wazzy's Reddit account and how sometime this year he's chosen to keep his posts hidden, even with all the suggestions for his MCSM remake and the ideas he'd been pushing forward. Now, I do have screen grabs for the 3 years or so that he kept his posts public. However, were I to use them as predictions and or possibilities for discussing the story of Block by Block, I would ensure to not take any of them as fact unless confirmed otherwise, especially considering how his addressing the storytelling in his delay announcement heavily implies rewrites done for the project before animation could continue forward, as well as marking such for potential spoiler territory depending on each individual post and how much it pertains to the plot. Now, with such praise I was able to heap despite the radio silence, you might think I'm coming off as unreasonably optimistic, and I can't exactly say I blame you. Which brings me to my next point: should we expect an update? Would it be nice if Wazzy chooses to update us at or around August 30th and or even October 13th this year? Yes, absolutely, since I'm just as anxious and wanting for answers regarding how the Block by Block team is doing with the project and possibly even the progress made on it across this year. But should we? Again, I don't want to make any definitive statements that he will update us by the end of this month, but considering how we went through a similar, albeit shorter period of radio silence last year before we did get an anniversary update, I'm still optimistic that we have to get at least one more update before this year closes out. I can't say anything on specifics as to whether it'll be a post, render collection, even a surprise progress video, or what it'll cover in regards to this project or its production. But all I will say is, keep your eyes and ears open for any potential news. With how things are currently going in the real world for me, I remain uncertain myself on when it is I'll be able to cover anything. To that end though, with how the real world can easily apply to anyone on the team, once more, I implore everybody to refrain from pestering or harassing them under any circumstances just for answer to this project. And that's going to mark the end of this coverage for Block by Block 2 years later. If you you want to remain posted on any potential news, the Block by Block Discord server will be the best place, for which there is a link in the description to join. If you want to check out any in-depth coverage of Block by Block I've done on this channel, these two videos are my top recommendations. I've also done in-depth videos on film discussion, namely my YMS Toy Story 3 response and my Stranger Things 3 video, in similar format to my Block by Block coverage. Feel free to check it out, but if they're not your thing, you are under no obligation to. And on the note of my absolute repulsion to a moron crap movie at the beginning of this video, may I unveil to you the complete second draft of the project known as a Minecraft movie critique. Because I initially hated the movie as much as I feared I would, to such an extent that I did my 90-minute spoiler rant on everything despicable about it. But upon rewatch April of this year, there was so much more wrong with the Minecraft movie than I ever remembered, and the notes I was taking on it ballooned into far greater amounts of text than I could have ever thought. I was blown away by just how bad, if not abhorrent, every scene is. Every single scene in that movie is contingent either on broken logic or impossible levels of contrivance, with the absolute worst humor as a poor distraction from such writing problems I've ever had the displeasure to stomach. And you bet I'm going to put every last atom in my core being to avenge my sanity for when I finally tear this terrible piece of shit film a new one. Editor's note, I have recently been made aware of the existence of a Minecraft fan series by Latin Diffusion titled Craft 1979, in which he has openly declared that generative AI was used considerably in the making of his work. As much as I despise Warner Brothers' film adaptation, I can at least say for them that they refrain from using generative AI as far as all of us are aware. So no, I have absolutely zero intention of ever watching or let alone covering Craft 1979 on the channel. I don't care if it's well written or claims to respect the source material. As Minecraft's creator, Notch, put it best, AI invading our spaces of art is completely unacceptable and should not be overlooked. As for when it'll be released, I'm not going to set release dates for my videos moving forward, so to truly allow myself the time needed to refine this project, it would be nice if I was able to get it out in time for the film's 2-year anniversary, but I'm in no position to promise that. So all I'll say is, it'll be ready when it's ready. Thanks for watching, guys and gals. Make sure to like so to promote this video in the algorithm, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I'll see you in the next one. So long for now.